And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today is a big old Friday, day 3 of our Julio Jones trade alert. Nothing's happening so far. What's going on with that? We really thought it would be happening as soon as, June 2nd came, but it came and it went, and June 3rd came and went, and here's June 4th, and they're really taking their sweet time. So what does that tell us? Maybe teams aren't really that kind of big on giving up that first-round pick. So maybe, some of these other teams that didn't have the first-round pick or didn't want to give up that first-round pick, they're like, hey, you're not getting any calls. It's been 2 days, past the start point when you could trade them. And, nobody's giving you the first round. You ready to settle for that second? Ready to settle for that third and maybe this kind of role player will give you? You ready to settle now? No? Okay. Take the weekend. We'll be here Monday. We'll be here Tuesday. Next Wednesday? Next Thursday? Now if you wait till next Friday, and we're gonna have to knock you. We're gonna take that second and bump it down to a third. Or maybe bump that second to 2023's pick. But hey, we'll let you do what you want to do. But, this kind of every day that he's not traded, it's got to kind of seem like nobody's willing to give up that first round pick. So, a 33-year-old wide receiver that's kind of, having some hamstring injuries, that's never great. Yes, we know he's an elite talent, but we just talked about it a couple days ago on the show that, Randy Moss retired at 32, folks. That's Randy Mother-Lovin' Moss. Randy Mother-Lovin' lost 16-0 with the Patriots, lost in the Super Bowl. Randy Moss. Come on. So we'll keep an eye on it today, see if he gets traded. But if he doesn't get traded by today, I don't think he's going to go to a team for a first-round pick, folks. So we'll keep an eye on that. But today on the show, we're going to be breaking down the NBA from last night, doing our Moneymaker lone game, the last round 1 game. Clippers, Mavericks. Mavericks take care of business, or Clippers force the game 7, but that's the only round 1 game left remaining. Suns closed out last night. Nuggets closed out last night. So we'll break down those games and do the Moneymaker for the last Clippers, Mavericks, potentially round 1 game. And then round 2 starts Saturday, folks. And Bucks, Nets. I cannot wait for that series. That's going to be the best series, I think, of the entire NBA playoffs. First round, second round, third round finals. I think it's going to be Bucks Nets best series. So buckle up. It's Saturday. Outside scoring versus beef down low. Who wins it? We don't know. We think the Bucks. We think the Bucks kind of easily, and I think we called it in 6. But we'll also review that series coming up tomorrow. I believe it's going to be maybe a 1 o'clock game, so, our show heading into that series. But that's what we've got today on the show, and I believe we are going to be able to finally squeeze in the NFC South draft grades and finally tie up the NFL draft. So I think we can do all that today on the show, so let's just jump right into it today with the stories of the day. And the first one up, I love what I'm hearing. Here we go. Browns linebacker Anthony Walker, who spent the first 4 years of his career with the Colts, says rookie linebacker Jeremiah Owusu Koramoah reminds him of Darius Leonard. Ooh, yeah, that's a great comparison right there. We know that Darius Leonard is an absolute force to be reckoned with. He's only been in the league 3 years, but selected to a Pro Bowl all 3 years, even his rookie year. He was a first-team All-Pro in 2020 just last year. I mean, he's got 7 interceptions in his first 3 seasons. He's got 15 sacks. He's got 9 forced fumbles, 22 pass defenses, 17 quarterback hits. I mean, we know this man is an absolute monster for this Colts team. So the fact that, somebody that played with Darius Leonard was a teammate and say him like, damn, now going to a new team, be like, damn, this kid has got it. I just saw what it is, and this man's got it. So we've got Jeremiah Owusu Koramoah on our number one linebacker big board, folks. We've done this before the draft, and we're keeping this up for the entire season so we can kind of just see, where we were right, where we were wrong, hit and misses here. But, he's our number one linebacker right here. Jeremiah Owusu Koramoah, number one. Zaven Collins, number 2. Michael Parsons, number 3. Jabril Cox, number 4. And Nick Bolton, number 5 of the linebackers that we've witnessed and kind of, looked at and reviewed at and went kind of in depth with. So that's absolutely great that, we're believing in him, and his team is kind of seeing like, all right, this man can actually play on the field. So let's see what we get in these quotes here. Anything else great? All right, here we go. Owusu Koramoah has impressed during OTAs, according to teammate Anthony Walker. Quote, elite athlete as far as explosiveness, quickness, speed, instincts, and all of that stuff. He has it all of the tools. Now it's about transitioning the game to the NFL level. I've struggled with it. We all struggle with it coming in from college, and now you're seeing a pro-style offense and understanding different route concepts and all that other stuff. So he's got those tools. He's got those kind of intangibles that you can't teach. Now he just has to, be taught. And, we know there's a big transition from college to the NFL, the speed of the game, the defenses, the hit power, all that, tighter defenses, we all know. So, that's just kind of, boilerplate stuff. He just has to adjust, but all those tangibles that you want to see are truly there. All right, what else did he say? Walker saying Koramoah made a big play today that he probably wouldn't have made 2 weeks ago. So learning, understanding, hey, I can't just be fast. I just can't be fast in a big hit power across the field. I need to know how to play, how to read the routes, how to read the route concepts, the route trees, all of that, and then go and make the big play. Once I figure out what the play is, then I can use my speed and instincts and my big hit power to make the play. All right, just picking up the pace and learning different tools and different things that he can use and have in his repertoire. He is learning that. He kind of reminds me of Darius Leonard, just a guy learning how to really understand the game of linebacker rather than just run and hitting. So I'm loving what we're hearing, folks. OTAs are just starting to wrap up. We're starting to get into mini camp starting next week. So we're seeing, we just saw Matt Stafford the other day. We saw Teddy Bridgewater the other day. And now we're just getting, film and information and interviews and, sound bites here and there of what is truly going on here in these first couple of starting practices for these new teams, rookies, new players, and new teams. And we're loving what we're seeing so far. So we tip our hat to Jeremiah Owusu Koramoah, linebacker for the Browns. This Browns defense is really going to be something that needs to step up this season to really kind of get over that Chiefs hump in the playoffs last season. We know the Browns offense is going to be good, probably, maybe even great. I could go great, folks. What we just saw from Kevin Stefanski year one with Baker Mayfield, it's fantastic. And they got weapons on weapons on weapons on weapons, folks. 2 great running backs, receivers on deck. They've got the tight end as well. So, in Baker Mayfield, he's serviceable, folks. Kevin Stefanski knows how to win with Baker Mayfield and how to make Baker Mayfield good and efficient in all of his passes. So the defense is truly going to be something that they're going to rely on. The offense, we think, is going to be able to get it done this season. And now what we're hearing from these OTAs of, the rookies and just the other defenders here for this Browns team, we're going to be big on this Browns team this season, folks. So watch out for Jeremiah Owusu Koramoah. We're going to be updating y'all for the rest of the offseason on him, and we're going to be, talking about him definitely once the season begins. So big kind of shoes to fill here. Obviously a big kind of comparison, that's not to be taken lightly, and we'll see if he can go out there in actual game scenarios during his rookie season and do what Anthony Walker says that he can do, what Darius Leonard does. And let's just kind of point out Darius Leonard's rookie stats one more time to see what we can maybe expect from Jeremiah Owusu Koramoah. So Darius Leonard, his rookie year, folks, he started 15 games. Fantastic. 2 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles, 8 pass defenses, 2 fumble recoveries. He ended up having 111 solo tackles. Geez Louise. And then 12 tackles for losses and 8 quarterback hits. So an absolute wrecking ball on the field. And we'll see if Koramoah can live up to that. Alrighty, let's move on to the Patriots now. Once again, hearing some good things out of this Patriots team, and maybe Cam Newton's going to suck us in for one more year. Last year we believed in him, we were hyping him up, and he kind of let us down a little bit. And this year, so far, we were like, all right, we're not going to do that again. We're going to see what he does, but we're not going to really buy into him. But now we get some quotes here by Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator for the Patriots, and maybe as soon as they pull me out, or as soon as I'm out, they pull me back in. And that's how I think I'm going to feel with Cam Newton this season. So let's see what the Patriots are saying here. Patriots are focused on gaining command of offense before judging quarterbacks. And we can read some of these quotes here by Josh McDaniels. So on Thursday, it was offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels' turn to field questions about his team's quarterback situation. He started at ground zero. Quote, "You coach them all hard. You coach them all fairly. You coach them all to what they need. What they all need is good, honest communication. Communication has been a point of strength for the incumbent starter Cam Newton, according to McDaniels, who said the strange first season in New England has proven to be beneficial to Newton entering year two. Quote, "He came back certainly this year at a much different position. He has a different grasp of the offense, a different understanding of the terminology." So that's great. I mean, we do have to kind of take all year ones with a grain of salt. That's always a learning year, and these players that come in and just excel right off the rip, year one, they are kind of the outliers. So once again, kind of giving credit to Cam Newton possibly being a lot better throwing the football this year other than last year, especially with all those weapons that they went out and got in free agency. Alrighty, a firm grasp of the offense seems to be near the top of McDaniels' desires, for which he said Thursday he was looking closely when watching Mac Jones' performance during his pre-draft workouts. Quote, "Presence, command," McDaniels said when asked what he was looking for at Jones's and others' pro day. Quote, "Are they in control of the workout? Are they talking to the other players there to participate with them? Are they coachable?" And so far, that's kind of what Josh McDaniels was kind of saying about Cam Newton, saying, he's got that grasp of the offense. He's learning the terminology so he can be kind of in control. He can command that offense. All right. Last quote here. "With the information in hand, it's easy to see why New England felt Jones was the right quarterback for the Patriots to take in the first round in April. Now it might just be a matter of how quickly Jones gains his own grasp of the offense," talking about Mac Jones, "a process that won't just happen overnight." Quote, "Are we making progress in the areas we targeted?" Quote, "Lay a foundation so when they come to training camp, it may be the third time they hear the material." So like we said, OTAs finishing up, mini camps starting to kind of, open up next week. And we know this is kind of not too much of a quarterback battle here in New England. We got Cam Newton. Obviously, he's most likely going to be the starter. We don't think Mac Jones is even close to ready to play in the NFL. I mean, we just talked about some quotes last week or earlier this week on the show about who was it? Was it Joe Burrow? I think it was Joe Burrow, a rookie quarterback saying, on the deep balls, I mean, in college, I was absolutely fantastic. And then, in the NFL, it was just like, I couldn't hit it. We talked about, the 20 or the 19% completion percentage on deep balls for Joe Burrow. So, Mac Jones, once again, playing in that absolutely talented-filled Alabama system. All those passes that he was really throwing were wide open. I mean, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. I mean, folks, come on. That's absolutely fantastic. And we know there's no defense in college, so Mac Jones, I don't think is ready to compete now. They still have Jarrett Stidham, which, they've been kind of rocking with as, a second and third string. So Cam Newton coming into the season, having the better grasp of the offense, last season with, being the COVID year and all these virtual workouts, not being in person. Maybe that's just what Cam Newton needs, to be in the presence of everybody to command the offense, has that kind of first year under his belt, has some better weapons to kind of, throw to and manage. So we're liking what we're hearing so far early on with this Patriots team, and maybe we should start buying Cam Newton a little bit more now. Hopefully he doesn't bite us back in the butt, but I think we're ready to give him another chance here, and I think I'm a Cam Newton believer again. But We'll take it slowly. We're not going to jump right into it. And once we reach that point where we're definitely buying into and rooting for and really kind of sinking our teeth into Cam Newton, we'll let you know. But we are kind of starting to get there, Alrighty, let's keep going here. And man, Father Time has not affected Tom Brady, and Frank Gore wants to also try to be that kind of generational talent that can just keep going and going like the Energizer Bunny. So Frank Gore waiting for quote the right situation before considering retirement. So Frank Gore, he just kind of hopping around from team to team over these last, how many years has he done it? Ever since he left Indianapolis, the Colts, he went to the Dolphins in 2018, the Buffalo Bills in 2019, and the Jets just last year. So, I mean, you have to go to the Patriots this year, right? I mean, you've got to run the NFC East gauntlet. If you've already done 3 teams, you might as well do all 4. So, let's see what Frank Gore is saying here on his decision. We've just kind of talked about Le'Veon Bell saying, hey, I'm also taking my time out here. I'm not going to get finessed. I'm not going to get fleeced by a team that promises me the world and then delivers me, an omelet. I'm not going to take that. You just promised me the world. I get 1 egg? What is that? So here we go. At 38 years old, it would be totally unsurprising if Frank Gore called the quits. He's just not ready to do that. Quote, I know that I can still play the game. I know I can help a team, but it's also got to be the right situation that I feel that I can be on a team that could go to the playoffs and get a chance to probably go to the Super Bowl. I know that I can still play the game of football, but I also want to be in the right situation on the right team. So Frank Gore doesn't want to play with the Jets again. He's like, gee, I don't even know why I did this. I know this team is absolutely garbage. And so Frank Gore wants to go and play for at least a playoff contender. Doesn't have to be a Super Bowl contender, but he wants to be in the playoffs. The Jets weren't that at all last year. And was he productive? I mean, last year with the Jets, nothing great. 653 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. All right, solid for an aging running back, solid for a number 2 back. I would say that. In 2019, 600 yards with the Bills, 2 touchdowns. In 2018 with the Dolphins, 722 yards, no touchdowns. So it's still, solid workout here. These are number 2. I mean, Mike Davis just ran for 600 yards last season with the Panthers. So yeah, definitely Frank Gore can be a number 2 back. He's obviously not a number 1. I mean, he doesn't have the fresh legs. He's aging out of this league, so he doesn't have to come in and be a number 1. But if he wants to go and kind of be a playoff contender, I mean, what better situation than maybe the Steelers? I mean, Najee Harris, absolutely, they're going to rock with as a starter, even though he's a rookie. And then you get Frank Gore teaching Najee Harris. Ooh, I think I would love that. Or even go to the Titans, backing up Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry can do it all. He's rushing for 2,000 yards every season. He doesn't care. So Frank Gore maybe won't get as many touches on the Titans, but, the Titans, a playoff caliber team, not ready for that Super Bowl yet. Steelers, definite, that defense can, at least carry them to the playoffs. So if Frank Gore is looking for a playoff team, and some still kind of valuable teaching moments with Najee Harris, the rookie, and still getting, decent production of about 500 to 600 yards, I would definitely say the Steelers is a solid position here for Frank Gore. But let's keep going here in this article, seeing if there's any other quotes here by this man. Gore did add, though, that he'd be ready if the 49ers or anyone else called. In fact, he's already received some calls, but he's waiting it out before making his decision. Same thing with Le'Veon Bell, waiting it out, hearing from everybody. And if none of the available options are suitable for Gore, he just might walk away. Quote, I talked to a couple of teams, but my agent told me not to put any teams' names out there. Ooh, interesting. So is it really that he was hearing from teams, or, was the agent like, hey, you're not getting any offers, just say you're getting offers, and then offers may come in and be like, oh, a team's interested in Frank Gore? Well, we're kind of interested. Oh, let me call him up real quick. So, not great. We don't know. We don't know for certain. We just have to, we have to assume he's not lying. So let's just kind of take this as fact. Quote, I talked to a couple of teams, but my agent told me not to put any teams' names out there. I kind of want to wait to training camp. I want to feel that. I want to wait to see if it's the right situation for me. If a team calls and I feel like it's right, I'm going to do it. But if I don't like the situation, I'll say forget it and I'll retire. If I don't feel like it's the right situation, I'll retire. So, Frank Gore seems to be kind of in, a good space. He's like, I still want to play, but it's not like I have to play. I don't have this burning desire to play and just to keep winning. So he's going to take it, kind of day by day. If a team calls that, hey, Steelers, hey, Mike Tomlin, yeah, great to hear from you. Yeah, I would love to back up Najee Harris. Yes, sir. I'll be there tomorrow. Yes, sir. And then he's like, yes, baby, I'm back. Baby, I'm back. But, if the if the Lions call and, Dan Campbell's on the phone muffled because we all know he still has the helmet on, and Frank Gore's like, yeah, instantly hang it up. He's Frank Gore answers the phone. He's like, hello. And he's like, he hears, hey, Dan Campbell. He instantly hangs up the phone and be like, no, I'm retired. I'm done. So we'll see where Frank Gore goes. Him and Le'Veon Bell, two solid options. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell can, I believe, still be a number one running back in this league, while Frank Gore is going to be a solid kind of number two, possible number three option to fill out our running back room. So we'll keep an eye on Frank Gore and see if any of those teams call him. Alrighty, I'm shitting on Dan Campbell a lot. I get it, but it's for all the right reasons, folks. I'm backing up all my reasons all the time, but everybody wants to clown me saying, you don't give him a chance. And, everybody always points out that I'm a Dolphins fan. They clearly don't watch the show, folks. Yes, I'm a fan of the Dolphins. I do root for the Dolphins. That was kind of the first team that kind of got me interested in football. And, but I am a more fan of football than the Dolphins. I love high level of competition. That's what I root for. And then I root for the Dolphins second. But, nobody watches the show, and then everybody just wants to comment, instantly, you're a Dolphins fan. How can you talk shit about, Dan Campbell when you're a Dolphins fan? But, okay, y'all got it. Okay, y'all got it. But, here's a rookie head coach that, I started not to like, but starting to kind of, see him in kind of the head coaching role. We're kind of buying into him a little bit more here. So, last year, Robert Saleh spoke about what makes a good coaching staff at the Quarterback Coaching Summit. This year, Saleh put together his own staff as the head coach of the Jets. So we weren't the biggest fan of Robert Saleh getting the head coaching job. We kind of compared him to Dan Campbell a little bit. I don't want to, use this term as, an insult, but these are kind of, two beef heads, two muscle men, energizing defensive coordinators that are just there to kind of really rally the troops and get everybody pumped, building, you have to, kind of create your own motivation and your own enthusiasm. And that's kind of what Robert Saleh and Dan Campbell are. They're juice heads. They're, getting everybody pumped, everybody ready to rock. And that's definitely something you need on your team. We just didn't think that's what the head coaching position should be. I mean, when was the last time kind of a juice head like Robert Saleh or Dan Campbell as a head coach has ever succeeded? We've got Bill Belichick. You see him like animated, getting everybody pumped on the sideline. John Harbaugh, Andy Reid, Bruce Arians. I mean, folks, these are winning coaches in this league. And Dan Campbell and Robert Saleh, they just don't kind of act like them. They don't, like, that's not their kind of traits. So we were a little hesitant on Robert Saleh, but, when we got this kind of minute 30 clip of him just talking about what makes a good coaching staff, it kind of bought us in a little bit more on Robert Saleh here. So him kind of saying, like, when you describe a head coach, what makes a good head coach, you're going to kind of inherently say, like, what your qualities are, because it's going to be subconscious. You're going to be like, oh, what makes a good head coach? Well, I think I'd be a good head coach, so these are my thinking. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to put out there. But he also goes to say that you have to kind of diversify your coaching staff. Take what you can do, what you think you're good at, but also kind of get different input from your other coaching staff. Get coaches that kind of can do or think different than you in different areas, and trust and believe in them, not just kind of get yes men that agree with you all the time, because that does not lead to success. So I loved what I was hearing from Robert Saleh when he was kind of describing what makes a great coach and what makes a great coaching staff. Diversifying your thinking. That's exactly what Bruce Arians has done, folks. That's exactly what Bruce Arians did, and they won a ring last year. You have to give that that so much credit, and that's kind of the thinking that Robert Saleh was also kind of piggybacking on last year. Now he's the head coach for the Jets, in control of his own kind of squad, the team, the coaching staff, all of that. So I'm going to start buying into Robert Saleh a little bit more here. We've been kind of, Urban Meyer's been kind of tanking in our mind as the season has progressed. Dan Campbell has he's got freaking 2 anchors on his legs, bricks on his hands, and he is just super sinking so quickly. The man's already at the bottom of the ocean, in our opinion. But Robert Saleh, he started low, but we're what we're seeing, the draft picks, some of these quotes early on of what he's kind of been doing as a head coach, and it's kind of been, rising the bar up a little bit. So we're going to be rooting for Robert Saleh. Obviously going to be keeping a tight eye on him during the NFL season with, all the other kind of first-year head coaches. So out of the first-year head coaches, what do we got this year? We've got Dan Campbell, Robert Saleh, we've got Nick Sirianni, we've got the Falcons head coach, we've got the Texans head coach. Is that all 5? Is there only 5? I think those are only 5 so far. I'll see what I can find remember. But of those kind of 5 rookie head coaches so far, I think Robert Saleh is starting to kind of be the one that's impressing us the most. We haven't really heard a lot of that Falcons head coach. Let me get his name. I'm blanking on his name. Let's get that up real quick. Arthur Smith. Haven't really heard a lot of Arthur Smith. And then also the Texans head coach. Let's get that up. They've got David Culley. So, we haven't really heard too much about them, which is maybe a good thing, because every time Dan Campbell opens his mouth, it's just like, all right, we're done. We really wish you did not say everything that you just said. So we'll keep an eye on all these head coaches, these first-year head coaches, but I'm liking what I'm hearing from Robert Saleh so far. So we'll see if kind of he definitely used this practice. He did say this last year. So let's see if he remembered all this, or if he just kind of, took the job to his head and did whatever the hell he wanted. So we'll see how he's performing, how his coaching staff's looking. I know, the Jets aren't ready to kind of be, serious contenders and even kind of, winning half of their games, 8-9 games this year. Getting to the playoffs is definitely kind of a long shot for this team, an extra long shot, just because, Adam Gase has ruined this organization 1,000%. But we'll see, if he can kind of at least be competitive, at least looking good on the field, turning around this Jets culture a little bit. Let's see if he can do that year 1. Alrighty, let's head over to the Cowboys now, and ooh boy, more videos from OTAs, baby. And this time we get CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver for the Cowboys, doing an absolutely great catch here, going up and playing the ball, 2-hand secure catch, 2 feet in bounds. I'm going to call this one. Let's see the yards on this one, see if we can see. Once again, the angle is a little hard, but I would say this is a nice 30 yards down the field, 25, 30, 35 yards down the field. Absolutely great ball thrown by Dak Prescott. Love seeing that. He's also throwing it on the run here, so that ankle's looking pretty decent. Obviously, like we said, it's OTAs. It's no full contact. I get all that, folks, but what we're seeing so far early on, we are still going to judge it and still see what we see and see what we call, and that's what CeeDee Lamb did right here, going up, playing this kind of 50-50 high-pointed ball. And he catches it absolutely fantastically. And like I said, coming down, 2 hands on the ball at the high point, coming down, still having 2 hands on the ball, and looking absolutely great. And we loved what we saw from CeeDee Lamb last year. So this kind of year 2 step, that's all we want to see from the year 1 to year 2 players. Are you taking that next step? We have to see you consistently improve. We don't want to see you kind of get stagnant, or we definitely don't want to see you get worse and decline. So CeeDee Lamb kind of set the bar decently high in his first year. Rookie year last year, 935 yards, 5 touchdowns. And what's a really good kind of underrated stat here for him is this 66% catch percentage. I know we've kind of been going back to these kind of elite wide receivers since we've been talking about Julio Jones, and we've kind of been seeing that those kind of elite wide receivers that are definitely surefire first ballot Hall of Famers, Randy Moss, Julio Jones, their catch percentage their first rookie year was really kind of bad, like mid to low 50s, low 60s. And then CeeDee Lamb out here, 66% catch percentage, absolutely great for year 1, while putting up 935 yards, while getting targeted 111 times. times. So really kind of making the most of every opportunity, every catch. What did he average catch per target? What do we got here? Yards per reception, 12.5. So it's not all dink and dunk. That's, that doesn't make up the 66 catch percentage. He's going, past getting the first down every time he touches the ball. So it's fantastic what we saw from CeeDee Lamb year one. These kind of early clips we're getting from CeeDee Lamb in year two. We're absolutely loving it. And I believe we get a quote here. I don't think it's a good quote, but let me double check here. Let's read this article right here. The article of the headline is CeeDee Lamb channels Terrell Owens as he prepares for year two leap. Quote, get your popcorn ready. So let's see what this quote is all about here for CeeDee Lamb. All right, quote, I mean, as a typical wide receiver, I feel like if the ball is in the air 50-50, the receiver is feeling like it's 100-0 always. I'm looking to be more aggressive. Anytime I see the ball in the air, I believe it's mine. And that's exactly what he proved in this clip right here. It's kind of a little bit of a 50-50 ball. The defender is maybe a half a step behind him. And CeeDee Lamb's able to kind of go up and high point the ball once again. Look at this great catch. Like, this is great. It's great technique. Look at this. Look at this man get up in the air. And then that two hands and then controlling it while two hands on the ground. He doesn't kind of lose a hand in the process, coming down to the ground. None of that. Keeping those two hands on the ball, which is absolutely what you want to do. Alrighty, what do we got here? Lamb set a Cowboys rookie record with 74 receptions last season, and his 935 yards were second in club history. That's a pretty good rookie year, no? All right, what else do we get here? The wideout believes a year two leap is on the way as he becomes more consistent. Quote, I feel like the jump is definitely there. It's all in the future to gauge it. I am excited about the future. I can't wait for the season. So once again, I mean, nothing good of a quote here. Just that video is really the meat and potatoes of what we're going with. But we also get Mike McCarthy kind of talking about CeeDee Lamb. So let's see what Mike McCarthy says. I know it's not a good judgment of what Mike McCarthy says, but he's still the head coach. I guess we'll give him a little credit. So let's see what he says. Quote, I think CeeDee is an excellent example of what you are looking for in your second-year player. The second-year player benefits the most in the full off-season program. They make the second-year jump. He is very comfortable, very natural. CD is definitely making that move you like to see in your second-year players. Hey, that's, good kind of, confidence booster for us of talking about CeeDee Lamb, obviously CeeDee Lamb, and once again just kind of hammering down these year two jumps. Rookie years, good, bad. We saw Justin Herbert absolutely flourish. Tua struggled a little bit. Joe Burrow struggled a little bit. So these year two leaps, that's really all we're trying to gauge. All right, we kind of got the base bar in the rookie season. Now we have to see you get better. Wide receivers, defensive players, quarterbacks, running backs, all of these players need to start making that year two leap. So we'll definitely keep an eye on all these kind of year two players in this season, and we'll always keep this in mind while we're kind of critiquing and judging this year's rookies, kind of comparing them to last year's rookies and always kind of looking for that year two leap. So the year two leap will be under the microscope for a lot of these players from us coming up next season. All right, let's keep moving on here. Talking about Tyrod Taylor and the Texans here. Tyrod on the roll with the Texans. Quote, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be able to go out and lead. And this is great here. This is why we're not kind of too concerned with the, Deshaun Watson scandal. Is he going to play? Is he not? Because they do have Tyrod Taylor as a backup, and I believe he is truly going to be a great backup. He's probably the best backup in this league. Andy Dalton's going to be a backup. I'm putting Tyrod Taylor over Andy Dalton any day of the week. And, just that unfortunate circumstance by Tyrod Taylor last season, getting punctured by his own team doctor in the lung, really ruining his entire career or his entire year, trying to get back on pace. I mean, we were talking about Tyrod Taylor trying to kind of re-gauge and re-get starting status at the quarterback position, and then he's out, week one because, team doctor literally sticks some in the lung and, punctures his lung and he can't go for the rest of the year. And then Justin Herbert steps in and has an absolutely magnificent season. And once again, just kind of how crazy just one it's a big instance. I mean, your own medical doctor injuring you is definitely kind of a big event, but, just kind of a, random event really just setting off Justin Herbert to a high course. Because if Tyrod Taylor was starting for the Chargers last season, who knows? Maybe he played great and got the starting job, and then Justin Herbert didn't even play last year. Maybe Justin Herbert makes his debut this year, but we got that incredible record-setting rookie year by Justin Herbert because of what happened to Tyrod Taylor. So, truly unfortunate what happened to Tyrod Taylor. And now he's able to lead here with all this kind of uncertain Deshaun Watson news going on in Houston, the new move of the head coach, just that organization just being in shambles by itself. Tyrod can kind of be like, hey, I'm kind of the man here. I may not start if Deshaun Watson is going to kind of be found innocent in all this and doesn't get suspended by the league or anything, but I'm still going to be this kind of nice veteran presence for the squad, this kind of young group that's here. If Deshaun Watson can't go, I feel real comfortable with Tyrod Taylor getting the starting job and, still being competitive, even though the Texans are just kind of awful overall, in terms of roster and coaching and literally the organization top down. But Tyrod Taylor out here trying to make the most out of it. It's not the best spot for him, but this is definitely where he could potentially try to get back in that public eye. He was trying to do that last year with the Chargers, like we said, unfortunate circumstances. Now it's going to be a little bit harder because he's in this absolute horrible market, absolute horrible organization, horrible circumstances under him this year as well. But if he can kind of take all this kind of garbageness and try to turn it into a positive like he's trying to do here, quote, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be able to go out and lead, then he can kind of try to get back in that public eye and next year try to get back into a starting role, try to get back into a backup role on a nice competitive team. So we're looking out for Tyrod Taylor, and if Deshaun Watson can't go or if he gets traded or whatever happens with him, we can still feel comfortable that the Texans would have a solid quarterback option to try to get them back on track as an organization as a whole. All right, let's head over to some basketball stories now. The first one, Damian Lillard ended up losing last night, so they're out of the playoffs. But he goes to Instagram, posts a picture of him and Jokic, kind of embracing, with the quote, "How long should I stay dedicated? How long till opportunity meet preparation?" And that is a Nipsey Hussle song lyric. And that's what he posts, so kind of leading everybody to speculate, is he going to leave Portland? Is he truly done with this team? Is he going to try to kind of chase rings and go to a super team? And if he's hinting teaming up with, Jokic and the Nuggets, I don't know. Can he kind of come in? I mean, we still got Jamal Murray on this team, folks, and Jamal Murray is so good, folks. He is really, truly good in this league. A lot of people kind of discount him, but I would kind of say do I dare say he's top 10 point guards in this league? I would say that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all saw kind of what they did in the playoffs last year. Jamal Murray going absolutely manic in that series against the Jazz, ends up winning in 7 for that Nuggets team. So don't discount Jamal Murray just because he unfortunately got injured at the back half of the season this year and isn't in this playoff series. Doesn't mean that Jamal Murray's not a great player. So Damian Lillard, if he is going to go to the Nuggets next year, if this kind of is a hint there, then maybe he has to switch to the 2, because I don't want to see Jamal Murray get tossed aside for them to bring in Damian Lillard. They've already been proven that they can win with Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray getting better every single year. Damian Lillard, he's a great talent. Don't get us wrong. We love Damian Lillard. We are calling him the clutchest player in the NBA. But for him to kind of be like, all right, well, I'm going to leave my team and try to join this team, and then, that would have to mean Jamal Murray has to get tossed aside. I don't think I'm all about that. So Damian Lillard, you may have to find another team to kind of suit up with to try to form this super team with, because I don't want to see Jamal Murray get tossed aside. I don't want to see that happen. So we'll see what Damian Lillard does. Obviously, the season just ended for him last night, so we've got plenty of time to speculate and talk about it and see all these rumors that are starting to emerge in the NBA offseason once the kind of whole season wraps up. But I don't want to see Jamal Murray get tossed aside for Damian Lillard. So they could play together. I would have no problem with that. I mean, that would be a stacked team. I mean, could you imagine that 5 of Jamal Murray at the 1, Damian Lillard at the 2, Michael Porter Jr. at the 3, Aaron Gordon at the 4, and Jokic at the 5? Ooh, yes. Now we're talking. That's a super squad. Yes, I'll take that. But I don't want to see just, all right, Jamal, you're out. Damian, you're in. I don't want to see that. Alrighty, another kind of, report early on. Here we go. Report that the Miami Heat are expected to pursue point guard Dennis Schroeder in free agency. Okay. Did he prove it? I mean, just what we saw from Dennis Schroeder this year, I mean, I don't know if I could go out and get him as a starting point guard. I mean, there's solid point guards in this league better than Dennis Schroeder, obviously. Chris Paul, obviously. Damian Lillard. James Harden. Jamal Murray. Donovan Mitchell. Who else do we get? Is that only 5? Did I only just name all 5? Let me think. Hang on here. Let me see these NBA teams that we've got. What are all these NBA teams? Here we go. Okay. Kemba Walker's, Kemba Walker may be better than Dennis Schroeder. I'd kind of say that. I mean, we cannot count Dennis Schroeder. I mean, we just saw him flounder big time playing with LeBron James when there's really no other kind of good outside scorer. So this was really Dennis Schroeder's year to prove that he can score the basketball. And it's not like, he can't score the basketball, but he's a great assister. I mean, in his career, he's only averaging 5.8 assists, which is, it's average, it's good, it's not great, it's not top tier. And in his career, this season he averaged 5.8. In his career, he's only looking at 4.7. So once again, these are not great numbers that really are just going to make a championship team. I don't think Dennis Schroeder is truly a championship caliber level of point guard. Going back to these teams here, yeah, so what do we got? 6 already. Kemba Walker. We'll add Kemba Walker. Here we go. John Morant. I'm taking John Morant over Dennis Schroeder. I'm taking Trae Young 1,000% over Dennis Schroeder. Obviously, Russell Westbrook, even with all those turnovers. He's not the most efficient scorer, but he still finds a way to get it done. So I'll take that. I'll take Russell Westbrook over Dennis Schroeder. What else do we get here? Stephen Curry, obviously. Doncic, obviously. So, I mean, we're up to almost 10, folks. I mean, so I don't know if Dennis Schroeder is somebody that you should be pursuing heavy. Is he going to return to the Lakers? We just saw him kind of turn down an offer in the regular season. He says he's going to stay with the Lakers, but we also kind of heard from him he doesn't like playing with LeBron. He didn't sign his kind of contract extension in the regular season, so I don't think he's going to stay with the Lakers. In this Heat team, you're going from Kendrick Nunn to Dennis Schroeder. I don't know if that's a huge upgrade. It's definitely an upgrade. I don't like Kendrick Nunn that much. And Dennis Schroeder, I would definitely say, is at least the same, maybe a little better than Kendrick Nunn. But I don't know if Dennis Schroeder is a starting point guard. If he wants to come off the bench, I would say that's an absolutely great piece right there off the bench. But I don't see Dennis Schroeder wanting to come off the bench. And I don't see Dennis Schroeder being on a championship level caliber team, honestly. So all these people that are going after Dennis Schroeder, I got a real bad taste in my mouth. Maybe we can let this digest. This Lakers playoff series, just kind of this Lakers run in general. I don't know if I can get behind Dennis Schroeder, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, like we said, the season just ended last night for them. We'll digest this season. Is this an outlier season for Dennis Schroeder? Should we kind of just take the season as a whole? Should we calm down a little bit and just let this kind of playoffs digest and then kind of see what Dennis Schroeder is all about? But I don't know, man. I don't see him being that great of a point guard, but we'll see. All right, and then once again here, another player that, potential risk. Report the Pacers are expected to listen to trade offers for Miles Turner this offseason. The Lakers, Knicks, Celtics, Hornets are, quote, expected to show interest. So, once again, Miles Turner out here, a great player, but these injuries, we saw him injured in the bubble, hindered the Pacers series there. We saw him injured this season. He did play, he ended up playing, 47 games, and then the injury showed up again. But in those 47 games, he was averaging 3.4 blocks a game. He led the league. Unfortunately, he only played 47 games, so what would have happened those other kind of 30-ish games? I'm sure he would have kind of kept up that pace. But once again, that injury history of this man, he's a good big, don't get us wrong. He can kind of stretch the floor decently with his shooting ability as well as kind of a decent big. But overall, can we take a risk on this injury? Last 2 seasons, big injuries, keeping them out, basically half the season once you count kind of playoffs as well. So once again, another kind of hard player to really kind of sink your teeth in, to really kind of go all in for because of that injury history. So we'll see what happens with Dennis Schroeder, that kind of talent ability dropping off here this season with the Lakers. Miles Turner, expected to kind of be traded, but once again, can we take that risk with the injury? He's great. He's great when he's on the floor. Solid player out here. Starter in this league, I would say so. A nice, solid kind of fourth option. The fourth in the just playing the 4, but that injury history, man, these last 2 seasons, not the best look for this man. So we'll see. We'll see where all these players are going in the offseason, but we still got playoffs to talk about, folks. So those were all the stories of the day. So let's head over to the NBA from last night, break down those games, talk about the one lone playoff game tonight. Then we'll head over to the NFC South draft grades and finish up the show there. So here we go. Last night in the NBA, the Nuggets close out the Blazers in Portland. How crazy. They beat them on their home floor. Damian tried to do his own thing. Wasn't as good from the 3 as he was, obviously, in Game 5. Damian Lillard only shooting 3 of 11 from the 3. Not that efficient. Unfortunate, and then nobody else can really truly step up. Now, this game was pretty close, and the Nuggets really kind of took over mid to late fourth quarter and ended up sealing the deal. But once again, just classic Portland, folks, just not being that clutch. Yes, they're, big fireworks, the scoreability, they go on some nice runs, but they can never close out games. And this isn't just this year, folks. I mean, this is like the last 3 years. That's why this Blazers team has never made really deep playoff runs. They just cannot close it out. And the same thing happened last night. So let's talk about this Nuggets team first. Facundo Campazzo still in the starting lineup. 10 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, looking pretty solid out there. Austin Rivers at the 2, 7 points, 1 rebound. He only took 6 shots. Jokic, 36 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. I mean, man, oh man, he ended up getting it done. He was kind of the one that really sealed the deal in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter. So well done to Jokic, always a great weapon out there. Aaron Gordon, he kind of hit the game-sealing 3 as well. Jokic kind of comes in with 4 minutes left, regains the lead. Denver still kind of decently competitive, and then Aaron Gordon hits a nice 3 to really seal the deal. So 13 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 of 2 from the 3. Efficient, that's what we're talking about. When his time comes up, he's able to hit those shots, so that's what we're all about. And then Michael Porter Jr., 26 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. He shot 6 of 12 from 3. I think all those threes came in the first quarter. He got off to a hot start, matching the tempo of what the Blazers were doing. So once again, we just had this Blazers team kind of demoralized off of Game 5 in overtime. Portland kind of comes off and starts out hot, but Michael Porter Jr. is there to keep pace with that three-point ability. Once again, kind of piling on that demoralization from the last game, and the Blazers are like, oh, we're scoring good, we're getting out to a hot start, and Michael Porter Jr. is like, no, I'm here too. Y'all forgot about me, MPJ Jr., baby. Don't disrespect me. I'm keeping up pace. I honestly think he hit all 6 of those threes in the first quarter. So, well done for Michael Porter Jr. kind of extinguishing those kind of big flames that could have potentially got out of control and really kind of affected the entire game. Because that's what we've been seeing in the playoffs, folks. Big scoreability in the first quarter and then riding it out for the rest of the game. We just saw last night with the Suns and the Lakers. Suns put up 40 points in the first quarter alone, looking real good. And the Lakers were just never able to really chip away from the lead for the rest of the game. And that's game for that Suns and Lakers series. So, Michael Porter Jr., a huge kind of showing last night to kind of keep pace with that huge scoreability that the Blazers had. So, great job by the starters last night for this Nuggets team. And then off the bench, we get Monte Morris. Yes, sir. That's what we would love to see, him stepping up these last 2 games. So now we're starting to see, is he going to get into that starting lineup, or is he just going to keep off the bench? Because we know that scoreability is probably not going to translate from the bench to the starting lineup just because they've got, good scoring, starters in Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. That's kind of the focal point of the offense. So maybe just kind of Monte Morris running the second team, kind of also kind of getting into some minutes with the starters as well. But we'll see what happens for the second series here for this Nuggets team and what they do. But Monte Morris has really been stepping up these last 2 games. So Monte Morris off the bench, 22 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. I mean, he still played 32 minutes, so more minutes than Facundo Campazzo played in that starting lineup. So we'll see if they officially make the switch or not. And then JaMychal Green, 10 points, 9 rebounds off the bench, looking real solid. And that's a great kind of production off the bench, which we need to see, especially without kind of, those 2 players that, have been out for this entire series. Once again, I'm blanking on their names. I know we say it every day. We say their names every day when we talk about this Nugget series, about them being out. Can't recall them right now. But with those 2 players being out, that's still, I mean, it's nothing great. I mean, they're not kind of, great bench players that, can get the scoreability, but it's still, attention grabbing. And they can still, try to make that run for those 10-plus points off the bench. So Monte Morris really making the most of all the opportunities that he's been giving here for this Nuggets team, and we're definitely all about it. And the Nuggets definitely need all they can get. Alrighty, now let's go to the Blazers now. Damian Lillard, 28 points, 13 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 of 11 from the 3, 40% on 20 shots. So overall, not a bad game. Just, didn't go beast mode scoring, and everybody else was just kind of average to meh, and you kind of needed greatness last night, and the Blazers just did not have it, unfortunately. So Damian Lillard, a decent game, not his best. CJ McCollum, 21 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 of 8 from the 3. Nurkic, 13 points, 7 rebounds. Robert Covington, 11 points and 10 rebounds. He did great. I mean, he only shot 3 shots, all from the 3, hit them all. Only a -3 on the floor in a 9-point or 11-point loss, so not terrible overall. Truly kind of making up for his flounders in overtime in game number 5. So well done for Robert Covington. And then Norman Powell, 17 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 of 6 from the 3, and also only a -2 on the floor. Real solid defense out there. Just unfortunately, the total offense just unfortunately was not there. All right, and now the bench for the Blazers. Carmelo Anthony, 14 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. He shot 1 of 3 from the 3, but 55% from the field. And Anthony Simons, 9 points on 3 of 3 from the 3 as well. So once again, the bench did decent. Just unfortunately, Damian Lillard a little lackluster with the 28. He really needs to go for like 30, 35 plus. CJ McCollum, we got to see in kind of 25 plus points. And Norman Powell needs to kind of be in 20 plus points, just kind of how the offense needs to shake out for this Blazers team to be competitive and have a chance to win. Unfortunately, they come up a little short offensively, and Jokic is able to kind of take over control down low late in the game. So the Nuggets move on to the next round, and they will be facing the Suns. Is that correct? Yes, they'll be facing the Suns. So going to be a good series there. We'll preview that tomorrow on the show. We're hoping the Mavericks kind of wrap up the series tonight so we can kind of refresh and kind of retool our thinking for the rest of the playoffs. We'll do that tomorrow on the show. Regardless if the Mavericks kind of close out or not, we'll just have to guess the winner of that game if that happens, or just talk about it both ways. Whether the Jazz have to face the Mavericks or whether the Jazz have to face the Clippers. But we'll kind of re-walk through the rest of the playoffs now that the first round is kind of officially over. Every team has secured their first round win except for the Mavericks and Clippers series, but there is a game tonight, so we'll see if they close out. Alrighty, let's head to the Lakers and the Suns, and once again, the Suns game really not even competitive. A big first quarter. Let's get the official score in the first quarter. 36-14. Absolutely wild here. So the Suns got out hot to a hot start, and the Lakers just couldn't. Now, Anthony Davis, he did start, but what did he make it? 6 minutes, 5 minutes and 25 seconds, and then the injury was just too much for him to overcome. Too much pain to kind of overcome, and he has to exit the game. And then from that point on, we knew it was game over for this team. So, Suns end up getting the win. They close out the series in 6. Bingo bango, taking care of business. That's what we love to see by the Suns team. So, let's start with them since they got the win. Chris Paul, only 8 points, but 12 assists. That's what we love to see. +3 on the floor as well. Devin Booker, 47 points, 11 rebounds, 8 of 10 from 3. Talk about efficiency. And once again, getting out to that hot start. I think he made like 4 threes in the first quarter, just burying the Lakers. Devin Booker's threes, and Anthony Davis injury. I mean, that was basically the story of the game, and the Lakers were not able to overcome it. DeAndre Ayton, 8 points, 3 rebounds. Jay Crowder, yes, sir, second leading scorer of the squad. He was on point from 3 as well from the get-go. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 6 of 9 from 3. I do not want to hear any Jay Crowder slander, folks. We've been the biggest Jay Crowder fan this entire year, this entire season, and, I'm glad that he's showing up for this playoffs, proving us right. We love it. And I don't want to hear anybody slander this man for the rest of his career. Y'all understand me? Y'all understand? So a great night by Jay Crowder last night. We love to see it. McCall Bridges, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 1 of 6 from the 3. Not efficient, but hey, we had Devin Booker and Jay Crowder for that, so y'all can slip a little bit. And then out the bench here for the Suns team, Cameron Payne, 7 points, and he was not efficient as at all, 1 of 8 from the field, but a plus 16 on the floor, great defense. Cameron Johnson, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a plus 18 on the floor. Once again, this bench of the Suns being, so great. Cameron Payne, plus 16, Cameron Johnson, plus 18, Frank Kaminsky only playing 6 minutes off the bench, plus 14, Torrey Craig, 3 points, 4 rebounds, and only 10 minutes off the bench, a plus 8, because that Suns second team is absolutely trash. We know this. So the Suns defense, the Suns second squad getting it done defensively, and Devin Booker and Jay Crowder taking over offensively. You would love to see it. So well done for the Suns, closing it out, and they will be meeting the Nuggets, and that's going to be a great series as well. How's Chris Paul's health? How's he's looking? How's he going to be looking for that series? And Jay Crowder and DeAndre Ayton versus Jokic and Aaron Gordon. How great is that going to be? So it's going to be a great series. We had the Nuggets. I'll have to double check. I think we called the Suns. May have called the Nuggets. We'll double check on that and get that to you tomorrow once we kind of, officially break down the series. Yeah, well done for the Suns last night. Getting it done. Love it. Love it. Truly want to see Chris Paul get a ring, man. So I would love to see if this Suns team get to the finals and win the finals. It's going to be tough because they have to go through the Nuggets, and then they have to go through the Jazz, and then they have to either go through the 76ers, Bucks, or that Nets team. And that's just going to be a lot of kind of beef to kind of overwhelm with DeAndre Ayton and Jay Crowder. We'll see if they're up for the task. Alrighty, let's talk about this Lakers team now. Dennis Schroeder, 20 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He was a -9 on the floor, the second worst of the team. The first worst was Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench, but he only played 7 minutes. He was a -16. Jeez Louise. And then Dennis Schroeder was the second worst at -9. So once again, Dennis Schroeder being picked up by the Heat. I don't know, man. I truly don't know about Dennis Schroeder anymore. He shot 2 of 6 from the 3, nothing great. KCP, 19 points, 3 rebounds. He shot 3 of 6 from the 3, 63% on 11 shots. He was hitting some nice shots in this game to kind of, try to, squash the lead as best he could. Unfortunately, he's not a superstar, so he couldn't really take over the game like that. Marc Gasol starting. No Andre Drummond in this game either. I mean, what the heck is that? How do you not play Andre Drummond when Anthony Davis doesn't go? I mean, as soon as Anthony Davis goes down, Andre Drummond, you're in, but he doesn't play. So I don't understand what Frank Vogel was doing. Barely played Montrezl Harrell. I know he played absolutely garbage, but he barely even played him in the series. So Montrezl Harrell never had his foot, and if footing in the series, and if you play him Game 6, I mean, he's gonna be cold out there. He's not gonna know the rhythm and the rotations and just how the team operates against the defense, against the Suns, and all that. So you needed to play Montrezl Harrell really from the get-go in Game 1, but he never got quality minutes in the series. So you can't expect him to come in Game 6 in those 7 minutes, and that's why he floundered at a -16 on the floor. Jeez. So Marc Gasol, 0 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds. Anthony Davis only played the 5 minutes. And then LeBron James playing 41 minutes, trying to give it his all. 29 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 7 assists, 9 rebounds. 3 of 10 from the 3, not the greatest. 42% on 26 shots. He was a -3 on the floor, pretty solid in a, what was the official score? 13-point loss, so not bad there by LeBron, but there's just no help on this team. Kyle Kuzma off the bench, 2 points on 6 shots. We can never rely on him. Montrezl Harrell, 2 points on 4 shots. Alex Caruso, 2 points on 3 shots. Now, Wesley Matthews finally getting it done here, and I would have put this man in the starting lineup. I don't know. Once again, these coaches not experimenting with their starting lineups. I would have not had Dennis Schroeder play that much. I would have had that man come off the bench, maybe put Wesley Matthews at the 2, maybe KCP, move him over to the 1 or something like that, but just Dennis Schroeder not getting it done, and Frank Vogel keeps him in this entire series. So once again, these coaches not experimenting with their lineups hurts them in this kind of playoff series. In the playoffs, you can change up your lineups a little bit. Try to get that extra boost, that extra oomph that you need. What you see lacking in game 1, try to, mix up the lineups. That's why I love what we saw from Doc Rivers of moving Ben Simmons to the 5 when Joel Embiid went down instantly. Joel Embiid went down. The next game, Ben Simmons is at the 5, wasting no time here. But some of these coaches here not experimenting, not switching up their lineups and expecting different results, and it doesn't happen. So would have loved to see Wesley Matthews play a little bit more, maybe get into that starting lineup. He put up 12 points and 6 rebounds off the bench. Talen Horton-Tucker, once again, we can rely on him. Start him over Dennis Schroeder or KCP. KCP was solid, so maybe not KCP, but once again, maybe give him some more minutes or something. But 19 minutes off the bench, 12 points, 2 rebounds. He shot 66%, real solid. So those bench players, solid work, Wesley Matthews and Talen Horton-Tucker, but, Kyle Kuzma, who we're supposed to be relying on, never gets it done. Alex Caruso, who had, the big season last year, floundering this year, so just never really finding out what this team is. Truly poor offensive scoring production for this Lakers team, and not getting it done. But now, once again, it's seeming like offense wins. Offense is going to win this year. We see the Clippers, they have a great defense, and they're losing, potentially going to get sent home tonight. We see the Lakers, the number 1 defense in the NBA, losing in 6. The Suns' offense beats the defense. So giving hope for that Nets team of offense going to win the championship this year. So we'll see what happens. The Jazz against the Grizzlies. That Grizzlies defense is real solid, but the scoreability, that depth of the Jazz just overwhelming it. So offense is seeming to take the cake here in this year's playoffs, and we'll see how the second round progresses. But first round defense, it doesn't matter. Gotta have the scoreability, and that's where the Lakers do not have. That's where they fell short this year, their scoreability. Alrighty, let's head over. We've got one game on today. It is game 6 between the Clippers and the Mavericks. So let's get this moneymaker going. Then we'll head over to the NFC South draft grades, and then we'll close out the show. We'll also, at the end of the show, check if Julio Jones has been traded. Alright, so here we go. Let's get the ins and outs. All right, well, we can talk about the spread. So here we go. Mavericks, Clippers. Mavericks +3, Clippers -3. Mavericks at home, which is never good. But what is interesting here is that it's the Mavericks +3. What was the spread when they were at home these other games? Let's get that up real quick. Hang on. So they started on the road at the Clippers, won both those games. Then they were at home for these Clippers for these next 2 games. So the spread of the first home game was Clippers -3, and it's still Clippers -3. And then for the second home game for the Mavericks, it was Clippers -3.5. So this spread is kind of speaking to what the regular spread has been when the Mavericks are at home. Mavericks have always been getting 3 points here. And the home team has lost every single game for some reason. I don't get it. But here we go. The ins and outs. Serge Ibaka is a game time decision for the Clippers. I'm sure he plays. And then for the Mavericks, yes, sir. JJ Redick is still out. What a clown. What a clown. Luka Doncic is a game time decision. He's good to go. We saw him good in last game, so I can get behind him. And then Maxi Kleber, also game time decision. I'm sure he plays as well. So seems like everybody's good to go here. And I think the Mavericks are going to be able to close it out. We're going to take the 3 points here. the scoreability. That's what we've been talking about. That's the narrative of the first round. These defenses cannot shut down the scoreability. Yes, you can have a good defense, but if you don't have anybody to score the ball, you need to score the ball, folks. Though the game of basketball is whoever scores the most points wins. It's not, whoever can hold the team to the less points loses or wins or something like that. It's not like that. So defenses have been floundering in the first round. Lakers, number one defense in the NBA, they lose in 6. Memphis Grizzlies having a real solid defense, they lose by the Jazz scoreability. The Clippers, the Mavericks scoreability, they can't stop it. And the Clippers do not have that scoreability. Yes, we can rely on Kawhi Leonard for like 25 plus, 25 to 30. He never gives us like 40 or anything like that. Same thing with Paul George, 25 to 30. Solid there, but who's going to be able to make up the rest of it? There's no scoring off the bench. Rondo barely scores. Patrick Beverly barely scores. We can rely on Reggie Jackson. That's why he's elevated to the starting lineup. But then who else is scoring? Yes, that's 3 good. The Mavericks got 3 good. Doncic, Porzingis, Willie Cauley-Stein, and then did y'all forget Tim Hardaway Jr.? Yes, sir. So the Mavericks just have that ability to shoot lights out, and I think that's going to be the difference here in Game 6. We saw that was the main difference last night in that Lakers game. Devin Booker getting out to that hot start, Jay Crowder getting out to that hot start, and the Lakers just could not keep up pace. So I'm going to take the Mavericks here. Finally, the home team gets the win, and we'll take the 3 points. And Clippers, goodbye. No Game 7. No chance at a second round. I mean, and just kind of the demoralization on this Clippers team. Kawhi Leonard missing the game-tying 3 in last game. Rondo getting on him on that. How are they going to respond? Are they fractured? Are they going to rise to the occasion? I don't think so. Mavericks +3. Mavs close out the series tonight. So that's our moneymaker for tonight. Tomorrow, folks. Tomorrow starts round 2. We get Bucks. Is there only one game on? Damn. Bucks Nets at 7:30. That's it. Ugh, I don't like that. We're starting to kind of get into this territory of, only one game on. We're going to start getting back to 2 games on a night come Sunday. We get Hawks 76ers 1 o'clock, Mavericks Clippers Game 7 if necessary at 3:30. So maybe we'll only have one game on Sunday as well. Not the best. So we had 4 games at one point, and was that so magical, folks? Wasn't that so magical? Now we're going to be 2, 1, 2, 1, then 1, none, 1, none, 1, none, and then 1, none, 1, none. So the back half of the NBA season, folks, it's a little unfortunate. We get better competition, but we get less games a day, and that's never great. So that's what we've got for tonight. Mavericks +3. Let's try to make some more money. Alrighty, finally, we have time in the show today, so we can finally wrap up the NFL draft. We still have to look at the NFC South. We've been kind of taking it division by division, grading their drafts. I know it's like 2 months removed, so who cares now, right? I know, I get it. But we had no time in the show, folks. We were talking basketball, playoff basketball. We were talking about schedule releases, and now we finally get time. So here we go. Let's finish up the drafts here with the NFC South. Looking at the Saints, the Bucks, the Panthers, the Falcons, grading all their drafts. Can anybody else get that coveted A minus, A plus? So let's start here in the first team up here. We'll talk about the Bucks. Well, what did the Bucks need? Nothing. They needed nothing. All 22 starters, 11 on the defense, 11 on the offense, are re-signed in, back in, better than ever. We are hearing stories left and right from Tom Brady being not 100% healthy last season. That's dangerous. The defense just saying that they reached their kind of, they just got started in the Super Bowl. So what's their peak going to be this year? So they had real no needs. So they go and get Joe Tyrone with their first pick, a nice linebacker to shore up the defense a little bit. They get Tom Brady's maybe potential future replacement in the next 3 seasons with Kyle Trask at the number 2 pick. Robert Hainsey, a tackle at number 3, shore up the line. Jalen Darden, a wide receiver, a nice little slot wide receiver that maybe pops off for Tom Brady. 4th rounder. 5th round, they go KJ Britt, linebacker. 7th round pick, they go Chris Wilcox, corner. And 7th round pick, Grant Stewart, outside linebacker. So Really focusing defense heavy. Got Tom Brady a weapon potentially. Shorter up the line potentially if he kind of pans out as a third-round pick. But we're going to give this Bucs team a solid B+. I mean, they didn't need anything. They didn't need that home run pick. Just solid solidification. Let's shore up the defense, whatever we need there. Let's kind of look at the future, and we'll give Tom Brady, we'll throw him a bone. We'll draft Jalen Darden, a nice kind of fast, small slot wide receiver. We've got the tall ones. Let's see if we can get something here with Jalen Darden. He pans out. He doesn't matter. We just won the Super Bowl. All the starters that won the Super Bowl last year are back. So Tampa Bay, a solid B+ here just because they didn't really need anything. So well done for the Bucs. Bruce Arians, a real easy draft for him here. Alrighty, let's go to the Saints now. Alrighty, and they went big defense heavy. So they've got kind of the offense. They just kind of have to see what the quarterback's looking like, either Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. We believe both of those quarterbacks can be serviceable. We saw Taysom Hill play last year. We saw them both play at quarterback. Solid, and they were able to kind of learn from Drew Brees for a season at least. So they've got the offensive weapons. They're just trying to shore up that defense a little bit. First round pick, they go Peyton Turner, defensive end. Second round pick, they go Pete Werner, linebacker. Third round pick, they go Paulson Adebo, corner. Fourth round pick, they go Ian Brook, just to kind of shore up that kind of quarterback room. Let's just take a shot on him. Let's see what he's got. He's definitely not going to start this season. I don't see him kind of coming in and instantly beating out Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston for that starting job. Sixth round pick to go Landon Young, tackle. In seventh round pick to go Kawan Baker, wide receiver. So they're kind of meat of their picks, their first kind of three picks, shoring up their defense a little bit. And I'll give them a B+. Once again, not a ton of needs here. It's not like they were one of these teams that wanted to draft like a top 10 quarterback or anything like that. Just solid work here. We just saw the Saints get to the playoffs, the second round of the playoffs last season. Floundered a little bit because of Drew Brees throwing 3 picks. So with kind of either Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston, hopefully he doesn't throw as many picks. Jameis Winston has the history, so we'll see. But overall, yeah, I mean, nothing truly needed here by the Saints team. I love that they went pass rusher first. That's what's winning in this league now. Who's got the best pass rusher? And Peyton Turner at 6'6", looking real solid out here. So we'll see if he plays to fruition, if he gets that start. Him and Cam Jordan, I mean, man, oh man, could you imagine if Peyton Turner can pan out well? So the defense here of the Saints is really what they focused on, and they went out and got it. So we'll give the Saints a B+. Alrighty, now we go to the Panthers. Alrighty, they had a ton of picks here. Look at all these picks. First round pick to go J.C. Horn, shoring up the defense. Second round pick to go Terrace Marshall, wide receiver from LSU. A nice 6'3", deep scoring threat. We love to see that. Brady Christensen, tackle. They go Tommy I don't know, what the heck is this? Oh, Tremble. I thought it was Trerr. I was like, but it's Tremble. Here we go. Tiny Tremble, third round pick, tight end. So shoring up that offense, making Sam Darnold as comfortable as he can be coming in year one. Alrighty, I can get behind it. They go Chuba Hubbard, running back. He's got definitely big upside potential here. A nice kind of fourth round pickup at running back. But you already have Christian McCaffrey, so once again, maybe, a splurge pick. Let's see if he can kind of come in and be a nice solid number 2 running back here for this Panthers team. Fifth round pick to go Davian Nixon, defensive tackle. Fifth round pick to go Keith Taylor, cornerback. Sixth round pick, they got 3 of them. Deontay Brown, they go guard. They go Shee Smith, another wide receiver here. All right, a little interesting with another wide receiver. Thomas Fletcher, long snapper. And then the 7th round pick, Phil Hoskins, defensive tackle. So this Panthers team, they already had 2 good wide receivers. So I was, I'm not the biggest fan of the wide receiver pick there a little early on in the draft. When did we say it was the 2nd round pick going there? Not the biggest fan of that pick right there. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. I mean, that's what we're saying, folks. Teddy Bridgewater made them work. So once again, Matt Rule goes with Sam Darnold over Teddy Bridgewater, and then just getting all these offensive pieces. I don't know if that's going to pan out too well. I don't think y'all needed that like that. But that's what Matt Rule went with. Let's go to their defense a little bit. What do they got? Do they really have anything great? I mean, what was their defense like last season? Nothing great. They bring in J.C. Horn. They definitely needed that. That's what I really love there. Their first round pick of J.C. Horn, shoring up their corners, shoring up that defense. But then their other quarterback, Dante Jackson, what did he do last season? He do anything good? 3 interceptions. All right, I'll give him that. That's pretty solid. Okay, 11 pass defenses. All right, so a nice solid, corner here. Let's see if J.C. Horn can kind of be the number 1 corner. Having Dante Jackson be a nice solid 2. I can get behind that. Let's look at their linebackers. Middle linebacker, Denzel Perryman. What did he do last season? 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. Nothing truly great there. Once again, maybe instead of all these offensive picks that was kind of shored up, I mean, the offense was solid, and then you still have Christian McCaffrey. So I don't love that the Panthers went heavy on the offense here, especially the running back in the 4th round. I really would have loved to see them just go defensive heavy. Teddy Bridgewater proved the offense was serviceable, folks. It was serviceable, especially with a year 1 rookie head coach and quarterback coming in. The offense was serviceable, especially with no Christian McCaffrey, but they go offensive heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4 of their first 5 picks were all offense. And then, just kind of shoring up the defense a little bit, slightly, in kind of the back end of the draft. And we know kind of the back end of the draft, you don't know what you're getting. You really don't know what you're getting past the 2nd round. So I don't love the Panthers draft here, and I'm gonna give it a C+. I love the J.C. Horn pick. Terrence Marshall is a good pickup just because he's 6'3", but it's a little I don't think they needed it like that. And then the Chuba Hubbard pick at 4th overall. Don't really think he needed that either. What's their backup running back look like? Let's get that up. Their 2nd string running back, obviously, is Chuba Hubbard now. It was Rodney Smith before, and obviously that's nothing good. That's nothing great. So I guess. But I think, you could have brought in a Frank Gore. You could have gotten that kind of somewhere else. I didn't really think you needed to go with the kind of a draft pick. But I do like the J.C. Horn pick, so I'll give the Panthers a C+. Alrighty, and then the Falcons, the last team here in the NFC South. Here we go. Falcons, number 1 pick, or 4th overall, 1st round pick. Kyle Pitts, tight end. Love it. I love Kyle Pitts. Man, oh man, the man's going to be absolutely fantastic, folks. We just see Darren Waller start to reach his kind of peak in the league, or not even starting to climb the peak, in this league, and Kyle Pitts is definitely going to come in and do exactly what he does. So I love the tight end pick here for Kyle Pitts. Now, they do already have a good tight end in, who is it, Russell Gage? Let me get that. I got it. I think I have it up somewhere. Maybe I don't. I can bring it up quickly. Atlanta Falcons. Here we go. Their tight end. Hayden Hurst, that's who it was, who caught like 600 yards last season. No, 571. It's a nice kind of strength. He's 6'4". He's got great size. He's got great beef. So they didn't really need it. I am a fan of Hayden Hurst, but Kyle Pitts, he's 6'6", tall, fast. You can't really pass that up. So I love the pick of Kyle Pitts at number 4, even though it's not a definite need. They shore up their defense a little bit in the 2nd round, picking up Richie Grant, a nice safety. Love that. They go tackle in the 3rd round. Love that. They didn't overreach for a tackle. We know there was kind of nice lineman depth in this draft that they didn't need to go out and overreach in the 1st or 2nd round. So shoring up their line a little bit. Love that. Another corner in the 1st round in Darren Hall. They go center in Drew Dahlman in the 4th round. Once again, shoring up that line in kind of the right rounds to do that. 3rd and 4th. I love it. They go defensive tackle in the 5th round. They had 3 5th-round picks, defensive tackle, defensive end, and corner, shoring up that defense. That was the worst thing about the Falcons last season, about the entire team, the defense. And they shored it up exactly when they needed it to, and I love it. And then the last pick that they had, kind of luxury pick here, wide receiver and Frank Darby. Once again, potentially, they knew they would be potentially losing Julio Jones. You've already got Calvin Ridley. You've got Kyle Pitts. You've got Hurst and who is it? Yeah, Hayden Hurst, right? Yeah, Hayden Hurst at the tight end, like we said, and then Russell Gage. He's a real solid tight end, or a real solid wide receiver here too. So once again, if they lose Julio Jones, it's not that bad, and then you free up $15 million. So I truly love. I love this Falcons draft, shoring up their defense. Their defense is solid already. You got Dante Fowler at the defensive end. What do they got at corners? A.J. Terrell, Kendall Sheffield. We'll see if he's able to kind of go for this team. And we'll see if kind of Darren Hall can kind of challenge Kendall Sheffield as a starting quarter. What does Kendall Sheffield do last season? Nothing good. Nothing great. I am a decent fan of A.J. Terrell. So let's see what these rookies can do, but I really think they were really on par on what they needed. All right, let's get the luxury pick in the 4th overall pick. We can do whatever we want there and just shore up our defense throughout, shore up our line. So I'm loving it, and I'm going to give this Falcons team an A- for their draft. I truly think they've got the best draft here of the NFC South, and I'm going to give them an A grade because of it. A-. Alrighty. That's going to do it for us today, but let's quickly see if Julio Jones got traded. We haven't looked on our Twitter in the last hour, so let's see what we get here. Oh, my goodness. We get a quote here. Oh, we get to talk about Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow tomorrow on the show. Urban Meyer on Tim Tebow, quote, "This is uncharted water. This is going to be very difficult." So you know he's going to sign him. He's going to make the roster. He's only saying it's going to be difficult in the media to try to sell it. We'll get into we're not going to read the article right now. We'll tease the headline. We'll get into the article tomorrow, but I can't believe what this league is turning into. If the Jaguars truly make Tim Tebow on their final roster, I cannot get behind them at all. I will not respect it. I don't care. I'm not ready to talk about that tomorrow. Jason Kidd is expected to interview for the Celtics head coach position. I don't like Jason Kidd as head coach, but all right. Not bad, I guess. Not terrible. There's worse. Alrighty, what else do we get here? It doesn't seem like Julio Jones got traded, or that would have been all over the timeline, so guess we'll have to wait. I mean, I don't think he'll get traded on the weekend, do we? When was the last time a big blockbuster trade happened on the weekend? What else do we get here? Anything good? Nothing good. Alrighty, well, that seems to be it for us today. We're back tomorrow, live, noon Eastern, finishing up potentially the first round of the playoffs with this Clippers-Mavs series. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll kind of walk through the entire second round of the playoffs also tomorrow. And we'll get ready for that Bucks-Nets matchup that I cannot wait for, folks. Alrighty, folks, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.